guys, how are you doing? Happy Dasera. This is Madhvi from taroticallyspeaking.com, a site where I blog about all my experiences and the wisdom and the knowledge and the information that I have from and about the tarot cards. I also do book and deck reviews, and now I've started focusing on this YouTube channel, so I make YouTube videos. And yesterday is a very interesting festival called Dasera, which kind of marks basically the victory of good over evil. There are a bunch of legends and myths and stories and whatnot. You can totally Google it, or I will put a link in the description. You can check it out. Anyway, so here I am today, and we remember that I do believe this is a video that a lot of people have kind of requested, and this is about reverse cards. And I have made a video about reverse cards where I talked about, those, remember those videos when initially I talked about the card story? And I did a video about how you can use that card story to interpret reverse cards. If you don't remember, I'll put a link here, somewhere up top in the video, somewhere up there. And yes, if in case you are looking in the background, this is my old computer, and I got a new computer, which is why this is a bigger screen, so the camera is at a higher angle. So I don't know, you get to see me from a higher angle. Anyway, so let's kind of, it's an interesting day today, but I'm going to be talking about the shadow aspect and also reverse cards kind of together, because the theme of this month is the shadow, looking at the shadow face to face. And when I get comments or messages, or when people talk to me and they say, "Oh my God, reverse cards! Do you use reverse cards?" I never read with reverse cards. Reverse cards scare me. Hey man, that's your shadow, because whatever scares you, whatever you like to or want to not look at, whatever it is that you are maybe even running away from, that is what is the shadow aspect is all about. And since we are all about the shadow today, I said, this month, I said, okay, the video that I make where I talk about spreads, where I talk about getting practical with the cards also on some level, let's talk about reverse cards, because there's nothing to be afraid of. See, our mind is very susceptible to programming, okay? And 9 times out of 10, we are the ones programming it. I know, it's a harsh truth, but face it. Like and maybe it's social conditioning, maybe it's, the environment you grew up where people told you, hey, you can't be doing this. Yes, all those things do accumulate and they do build up, and I'm not discarding the importance of that. But when we grow up, right, that's when we're kids and stuff, but when we grow up, we do have a lot of control over what we allow to take over in our mind space. That control is something we give up when we let other people's opinions about this or that, or even us, take over, and we stop thinking for ourselves, really. And so when people say, hey, you can't do this, you don't think, I don't think you have what it takes to make it happen, and stuff like that, and you start believing in it, you're literally allowing their thoughts control your mind, right? And this is what happens with reverse cards. People find them different, scary, unusual. I mean, first of all, people look at the cards and say, 78, oh my God, how are we going to remember them? First of all, you're not supposed to remember 1,000 different meanings. You're just supposed to look at the card and figure it out. It's not that hard. The card story method makes it fairly straightforward. And believe me, that's just a very systematic approach to something that eventually will become very instinctive. So consider buying my book. Shameless plug. Consider buying my book. But seriously, I've also made some videos. You can look at that if that kind of appeals to you. There's a little bit more in the book. Take it up, look it up. Spend some time with it. The point I'm trying to make here is there is really no need to mug up meanings so that you can remember them, especially when you're doing readings for yourself, for others, and even professional situations, or even just non-professional situations. You're sitting with friends and doing readings. Looking meanings up in a book is not a bad idea, but when you do that, you're basically not allowing your intuitive, creative, imaginative energy to flow through. I suggest if you're working with a new deck, work with it, study it, completely understand it, and then you start using it for these kind of readings, right? But when you're doing readings for other people, use a deck that you're familiar with, that you don't need to kind of look in the book for, right? That is the first step of becoming comfortable. That card story method, the looking at the image and figuring out what happens. It's something that should be very natural. And it is. Just tell yourself that if, before you get into tarot, if you tell yourself this is going to be simple and I'm just going to breeze through it and I'm going to pick it up. If you tell yourself that, you will pick it up. But if you go in saying, oh my God, this looks tough, how am I ever going to do it? Well, guess what? You've kind of preconditioned yourself to that. That is what the mind does. Now, so the mind can be used for good and for evil. That's what I'm saying. Secondly, use that same mind, therefore, and so once you get past the hurdle of just learning about the upright meanings, then comes the reverse meanings, and you're like, oh my God, they are reversed too. What the hell? Right? Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. I know I'm kind of just riffing on this, but I see so many people just scared of uh, reverse cards and court cards. Seriously, they're people. You deal with people all the time. Court cards, again, I'll make a separate video about that. Reverse cards, that's the focus. And reverse cards, to be honest, are not that different from upright cards. Okay, if you really want to start working with them, because I suggest that you do start working with them, because life is all about upright and reverse moments. If you ask me, you can't have everything happy, happy, happy. And again, not all the situations depicted in the upright cards are all happy, happy too. I get that, but you cannot just have everything positive and light and blah blah blah. And you cannot deny the fact that shit happens. You cannot walk away from the fact that sometimes in our life things are messed up. And when you're looking at the tarot card reading, when you're going for a reading, or when you're doing a reading for yourself, you want to know the truth, right? You want to know the truth. You want to know what to expect. You want to know clearly what's coming up. I mean, if you want just a happy, everything is going to be hunky dory kind of just someone to come and comfort you and say everything's going to be okay, that's fine. That's great. But there are times when you want to really get the clear picture, and you want to know what's up, and you want to know what to expect, so you can prepare yourself for what lies ahead. And the cards never lie. And reverse cards, simply by the fact, by the thing, by that they are coming up reversed in your spread, they make you stop, they make you pause, and they make you notice them. I think in that way they get your attention in that spread, that hey, something's not quite right here. That's what they want. They want you to look at them. They want you to pay attention. That's why they show up reversed. That's why they are there in that spread in that fashion. Not upright, but reversed. And then you're like, hey, wait, this is reversed. Something is not quite right here. And that is all that their function really is. Now, interpreting that, it's very simple. Okay? You know the meanings of the upright cards, so it's very easy to derive the meaning of the reverse card. So if, let's say, you're looking at the picture, and interpreting it is your thing, and you find it hard to look at the reverse picture and say where what, Just pick up the card, make it upright in your hand, see what the card is, turn it around, put it back. You know what you're doing, right? It's not that hard. You can do that. Point is, reverse cards, you can look at them in three different ways. And I'm sorry if you think, well, where's she looking at? I have my trusty post-it here where I wrote down my notes and pointers stuck to my computer's. Okay, so first and foremost, very basic level of interpretation style for the reverse cards. Look at it and say, oh, it's the opposite of what's going on in the upright card. It's not that hard. Okay. Once you kind of get familiar with that, you can go and say, oh, so there are some blockages or hurdles or delays in whatever is going on with the upright meaning of that card. Okay. And the third one is something is not quite right. Again, apart from hurdles and delays, maybe there's something not quite done yet. It's not complete yet. So whatever's been shown in the upright card is not quite there yet. That's it. These are the three different, very basic and very simple ways of interpreting reverse cards. Okay, now that was the theory. And I'm going to go now and shoot the video where I show you with examples. I know that's what you're there for. With examples, we're going to see how to use these reverse card meanings in real world spreads, situations, circumstances, so on and so forth. So, see you after the transition. Hi! So, as you can see, I'm going to be using my very trusty Universal Weight Pocket Tarot Edition because the cards are smaller in size and so easier, in that limited space that we get. Screen real estate, I believe it's called. And, again, why reversed cards are feared, I honestly don't know. Maybe because, when I learned, I was like, okay, so they're upright, so naturally they'll also be reversed, right? That was my thing when I started learning and right from the very first reading when I started going to my teacher to learn tarot, it was like a very natural thing that so if they're upright they'll be reversed too. That's interesting, right? That is how I think, somewhere maybe because I walked in with a blank slate, not knowing what tarot really was, to be honest, right? For me, it was just, oh my God, you can see the future in this, I was so silly and naive, but I think that helped because I didn't have any fears of the reverse cards. And that's why I say it's very relevant to what the theme of the month is, the shadow, right? What we fear, what we are afraid of. And reverse cards is one of those things that most people find themselves, really scared of, or they, they seem to find themselves unable to interpret. I mean, seriously, why? How? You can interpret the upright cards, right? So then you can also interpret the reverse cards. Tell yourself that, right? See, 90% of this is conditioning your mind. All right? The rest 10% is what I'm going to show you here with examples. Okay, so basically we've just mixed up the cards. I don't know how they're going to show up. I'm just going to do a few interesting random spreads here so we have examples to work with, because we like to do all 8 of Pentacles, learning by doing kind of thing, right? That's how we learn. We are visual. Okay, so let's take the first method which I talk about, looking at the reverse card meaning as the complete opposite of what the upright meaning is. That is level 1 level of interpreting reverse cards. Okay, so let's take a simple past, present, future spread. All right, I'm just going to be pulling 3 cards here, past, present, and future. Okay, I don't know which is upright, which is reverse. Let's hope there are a bunch of upright cards. So I'm just going to open them and see. See, finally there is a reverse card. Good. So let's go one by one. Past, we have 7 of Cups. right? And I'm not going to get into the intricacies of the imagery here for this video, because I want to talk about the reverse cards, all right, and how to interpret them, right? So we're going to just go with the very basic, very keyword type meanings here. So Seven of Cups, you are looking at different opportunities and trying to, say, and here you are a little scared, fearful that, okay, I have so many things, so many desires. Which do I choose from? Now, this happened in the past, so this is what the energy was before. You were a little doubtful about what particular ambition or desire you want to pursue. Now let's come to the present. Here you are again, King of Cups. So again, see the theme of cups coming in, right? So it's all about the feelings and desires of that emerge from that space. So here in the King of Cups, again, a court card, you have, as a king, you have kind of attained a level of mastery, a level of control, a level where you say, okay, I know what I'm doing, right? So in the past, where you were a little unclear and a little fearful about your path ahead, in the present, it looks like you have kind of gained some amount of control over this, because it's all the emotions. If you see in this, let me hold it up, in this card in the background with all the water flowing up and down, the ships, and that's your messages, the fish is the gifts. So all the stuff that's coming and going, you seem to have found your balance, and you're like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing here, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, right? And then, of course, see again the theme of the emotions in the cups. This is the future. This is what you can expect to happen. Now, like, you're gonna look here and you're gonna say, oh, this is a reverse card. Fine. If you're starting out with reverse cards, if you're venturing in this territory, just for a moment, pick up the card, make it upright, and say, oh, okay, Ace of Cups, this means joy and the joyful outpouring of emotions, right? All the feelings kind of falling out of that cup there. This is joyful outpouring of emotions. Happy, happy, happy. What happens when this becomes reversed and you're just level 1, you're just saying opposite? Whatever is going on in the upright card, the reverse card is the opposite of that. And you say, oh, okay, so it's not joyful, therefore it is a sad outpouring of emotions. That's it. So what happens here, if you're going to put this whole story together, because past, present, future, you were confused about what path you had to take in terms of your desires and your ambitions. But in the present, you realize that, okay, you have some sort of a control there. You are in charge. You're managing that fear also, right? That fear hasn't gone away, but you've managed to control it, and you are trying to, and you have, you've got a handle on this. You've got it, kind of. But then in the future, what happens is that actually might lead to a sad outpouring of emotions, and that is good. Now, level 2. Okay, we'll do next example. But here, essentially, if you see now, if again, I'm just going into the card story because I can't help myself. The opposite meaning is, as we said, is, of joyful outpouring of emotions, is a sad outpouring of emotions. Emotions, all the sad outpouring, so, I mean, look at the picture, man. The cup is reversed. What happens when you take a cup full of water and turn it around? All the water flows out. Even if this is a sad moment, it's actually emptying your cup. There is a plus side to it too. Literally, maybe it's all these accumulated fears, maybe it's all these accumulated emotions that are finally coming out. There's always a silver lining, even if there's a reverse card. If you put the story together, you start to see it. All right? Okay, so this was level 1. Now let's see level 2, where we are talking about either there are hurdles or delays in whatever the upright card means. So again, same simple past, present, future spread. I'm just going to pull 3 random cards. Hope there's a reversal. Hope there's a reversal. Come on. Okay, there's a reversal. All right. So, past. We have the 9 of Pentacles. So everything is cool here in the past. Right, Nine of Pentacles talks about, again, very simply, it talks about someone who is very comfortable in their situation, be it financial, be it emotional, be it, long-term vision wise, whatever. This is a person who is quite comfortable in what they have created or achieved in life. This was the situation in the past. Now, what happens in the present? We have the Lovers cards. This is good. A relationship, right? Let's just go with the very simplest meaning of the Lovers card. A new relationship shows up in this person's life, and it's a good relationship. It at least in the present, it's feeling like a very nice relationship. There's communication. There's the feeling that everything is okay. It's a budding romance. It's a new romance, so everything feels very lovely. So look at the future now, and we have the King of Swords reversed. Okay, this is interesting now. Why? Because we are looking at the level 2 method of interpreting reversed cards. Again, take the up card, make it upright in your hand, and see what does this King of Swords talk about. The King of Swords talks about a person who is intellectual, very smart, but he's also very driven in the way he looks at things, and he's kind of very fixed at the way he looks at things. It's his approach is my way or the highway. Again, a king, so he's the master of his realm, which is the intellect. So he is really very smart, very intelligent, very capable, but at the same time he's also very strict about it, and he can be very firm about the way his thoughts are followed or interpreted or everything. Now that's him. All right, that's a person. So maybe one of these two. And since this is a woman, I'm just going to be very simplistic here. Okay, I generally don't ascribe genders, but let's just go with this. If this is a woman's story, then this is the guy in her story, and he is the King of Swords reversed. Remember, this card was reversed. So in the future, what will happen here? Again, because this is talking about hurdles and delays, it's very interesting to look at the court card here. So this is his personality now. He's a firm, smart, intelligent man who insists on having his own way. In the reverse, there will be some sort of hurdle in that whole process, maybe because he's the master of intellect, he's also the master of communication. So maybe down the line, there might be some issues with communication, some hurdles in the communication between these two, which might create problems. And this is because he is maybe trying too hard to impose his will upon her. Now, understand, she is the creator of her own life. She has made it happen. I'm just putting it together. I can't help myself. She has made her life happen. She's not going to listen to him. All right, she's like, I know what I can and cannot do. Or maybe the way he tells her what he thinks she should do is a bit, mansplaining-ish, or being too controlling over her. So he needs to find a better way to communicate, right? Otherwise, this relationship will go downhill. Oh boy. So again, the big hurdle here is his assertion that it is his way or the highway. And this will cause problems in communication. This will cause issues with communication. That's it. That's as simple as it is. Again, don't be scared because it's a court card. Really, it's just a person. That's his personality in the upright. And in the reversed, he goes berserk, right? He does something that he's not supposed to do, or that he reacts in a way that is not ideal, right? Or that is the complete kind of opposite of what the upright would be. I'm not saying that the King of Swords upright is always good. He can come off very controlling, very dominating. In the reverse, you can even say that, okay, his control lessens. That is one aspect of it too, that his control, his dominance, dominating nature kind of reduces. That is one aspect of it, right? Or another aspect, because we're looking at the level 2, not the level 1, we're looking at level 2 here, which is all about hurdles and delays and blocks and such. So there is definitely hurdles in communication. All right, that's the Very interesting interpretation here. Okay, let's go with another spread. Past, present, future. Oh boy, let's hope there are reversals. Okay, there's a reversal. All right. Now, the universe is being kind with me today, giving me at least one reverse card in each spread. Okay, so now let's go to level 3, where we are talking about energy being stuck. Something is not quite done before, things move forward. So let's look. In the past, we have the 5 of Cups reversed. Now, this is interesting because this is one of the cards you would be happy to see in the reverse. Why? Look at this. 5 of Cups is this guy's crying, he's feeling sad, he's kind of depressed. Maybe there's a loss of something, maybe a friendship or a connection, and he's sad because of that. Now, if he turns around, he'll see, hey, I still got these 2 cups, yeah? I still have friends. It's not like I don't, right? But for now, he's focused on what he's lost rather than what he has. That's not a good picture. Reverse. I guess he comes out of this sad space, turns around and says, hey, okay, that's fine, and he stops feeling sad about what is gone and starts focusing on what he still has. So now this is one of those places where, literally it's a good thing to get this card as reverse. And this is the energy coming in from the past. Now we're going to interpret this as something stuck, which is, something is not completely there. So he may be, now, again, this is very interesting. Okay, if we're going to interpret it this way, right? So in the past, you can say now that he was not done grieving. Right? Reverse 5 of Cups. He was not completely done grieving. Something pushed him to look at the happier picture in his life. But he was not done grieving. That grief has still kind of accumulated there. So in the present, even with that, he goes and meets another girl. And he's like, okay, I kind of like you. What happens? Dun, dun, dun. This is a 5 you really want reverse. This is the card of conflict and verbal battles, because it's all the air. 5 of Swords is battle. It's arguments. It's just not good. So see how the story comes together. His grief, he was not done grieving. He was, he just kind of, he quickly met another girl, and he decided, oh, this is a nice girl too, let me get, see if things work out with her. But then, he was not done grieving. Maybe he carried that baggage over into the future, which led to an argumentative situation where, he got into this whole thing with her. See, it's that simple. It is that simple. Really, there is just... Reverse cards are not bad. I'm just saying, there's, like I said, 3 different ways to interpret it. Okay, you know what? Let's look at each of these spreads that we did. This was the first one, wasn't it? Let's look at this card from all 3 levels now. Okay, this is fun. So what we saw here in this one was, he had all these options that he had to choose from. And then, he was a little fearful. What should I choose? What should I do? And over here in the present, he said, okay, fine, I'm cool with, this one option that I have chosen. And I think I'm going to be okay with it. And it led to a sad sort of, an outpouring of sadness, right? An outpouring of sadness. But then, now let's look at it from the second level, where we talk about hurdles, delays, blocks, and so forth. So, he couldn't choose from his options, so he was a little, unsure of himself. Then in the present, he became a little bit sure about himself. He said, okay, I'm gonna, I've got this all figured out. But then, really, actually, he hadn't, there's some sort of, hurdle there. He couldn't find himself, because this upright is all about joy, right? But he still couldn't find his happiness. he still couldn't find his joy, his sense of joyfulness going forward, because he thought he had it, all under control, but going forward he realized that I still don't find my joy here. Hmm? And okay, let's look at version 3 where we say the energy is stuck. So again, he has all these options and he's not very sure which one to go for. And then in the present, he says, oh, okay, I think I can wing it, I can manage it, let's see how it all goes. But then he realizes that, this upright card is also about finding joy and happiness within yourself. And he realizes that first I need to be happy with myself. I'm not happy with myself. And that's why, all this is happening. I'm feeling stuck. I'm not able to express my joy. I'm not able to find that peaceful, happy core of myself. So that's what, so he can't wing it. He finds out he needs to really work on himself first. Wow. Okay. Hey man, I'm good. Or at least I think I'm good. Okay, let's go with the second one we did. Oh, it was like this, wasn't it? All right. Let's see. Now this was the second level interpretation where she's the let's go option 1, which is the opposite of the upright. So she's doing comfortably well for herself. She's created her own sort of, maybe she's got her own business and her own thing, and she's an entrepreneur type of lady, and she's okay. She's cool. She meets this guy. They really get along, or so she thinks. And then in the future, though. He turns out to be a little bit of a dominating sort of a person, so she's not having any of it. She's like, dude, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that to me. Or we've already done. Let's do version 2 is where there's hurdles and delays or blockages, and so this very independent, successful woman gets into a relationship and it's all hunky-dory and nice until down the line she realizes that there are some issues, definite issues of communication, and he's coming off way too strong or way too dominating, and he needs to tone it down. Okay. Version 3, stuck energy, again is the same thing, and as they come through the relationship, this guy needs to understand that maybe his method of communicating by being dominating, by intellectually or using his intellect to prove a point every single time may not be the right approach for this girl. She's a Pentacles girl. She's practical. She is down to earth, and he's all mind. So he needs to find a better way to communicate with her. See, even if, let's say, in a reading, we apply all the 3 layers, all the 3 levels, we get so much. We actually get kind of an idea of what to do to fix it, somewhere in that whole exploration, right? Okay, so don't be scared. Now let's look at, this one. This is the spread we did. This is also boy meets girl here. So, okay. Again, level 1, if we say opposite of upright, he comes to terms with his grief. He goes to meet a new girl and sees if he can get along with her. Turns out they don't get along. They argue a lot. Version 2 is hurdles, delays, and so forth. So maybe like we, he took a while to come to terms with his grief of some kind or depression of some kind, or maybe he's still depressed, but he still goes ahead and meets this girl. Now you can't say he's still depressed because it's reversed, right? So he's maybe in the past he's trying to come out of his depression, right? That's your hurdles and delays. It took a while for him to come out of his depression, and then he met this girl, but they ended up arguing with each other. And version 3, stuck energy, right? So he didn't, as we said, he didn't completely get to deal with his sadness, and he went ahead on that date anyway, but they ended up arguing. It's as simple as that, really. Okay, that was just a past, present, future. No, I'm in a good mood today because I am. And I know it's been a long video so far, but let's do another three card spread I like to do. It's called the situation, attitude. No. Situation, hurdle, and guidance. Right? Situation, obstacle, guidance. Right. Let's do that. And we'll take one spread and we'll put it through all the three levels. How about that? You with me? Okay, let's go. All right, so situation, obstacle, and guidance. So again, now these are three different contexts. This is the situation, this is the obstacle, and this is the guidance. So we have to, move past the past, present, future. We are now looking at it from a very different angle. Let's hope do we have reversals? Oh, there is a reversal. Okay, two reversals in this one. Cool. All right, the universe is kind to me. All right, situation. Ta-da! 10 of Swords. All right, this is pretty clear. This is a heartbreaking, painful situation. Literally, a lot of pain here. This person is going through a lot of pain, but this is again my version of silver lining, right? This is the 10 of Swords. There is no 11 of Swords, right? That's what I tell my clients. I'm like, yeah, it is hurting and it is painful, but this is as far as it goes. There is no 11 of Swords, which means it's only going to get better from here. So I always like to do that somehow. I mean, I know that you should be truthful, but at the same time I feel you should also empower your clients with, because this is the 10 of Swords. There is the new dawn. Yeah. So you should also empower your clients. You should not make them feel helpless and powerless at the hands of fate, so to speak. Right? You should tell them that you have options. You have you have your free will. You have it inside of you to overcome what happens to you. Right? So anyway, 10 of Swords, simplest meaning, you are really going through a really tough time. It's painful, it's hurtful, it's difficult. But hey, look, there is a new dawn, something positive coming your way. But what is the obstacle? The obstacle is again 10 of Cups reversed. Okay, all right, let's put it through its paces. 10 of Cups is the happy family card. That's the upright meaning for 10 of Cups. It's the happy family card. It's a family that's emotionally connected with each other. So now in the reverse, the 10 of Cups becomes a family that is not happy, right? Version 1, it's an unhappy family. Version 2, there might be some issues with the emotional connection within the family. And version 3, you need to, figure out where that emotional disconnect has happened so as to, make it upright. You with me so far, guys? All right. Now, this one is the obstacle though. Okay. So now what we say is the obstacle in this situation where this person is going through a tough time, really tough time. The obstacle is that there is an unhappy family situation. They are unable to emotionally connect with each other, and they need to figure out that emotional disconnect, where it happened, how it happened, and find a way to, reconnect in order to kind of get better. But this becomes the obstacle here, this disconnect, emotional disconnect, that causes the unhappy family scenario. All right, that's your obstacle, right? And the guidance now, what it is? Page of Pentacles reversed. Ta-da! This is interesting. The reverse card comes up as the guidance. Okay, so let's look at the upright card first. We have Page of Pentacles is a young person, very practical, very down to earth, and very studious, very sincere. He's the way he looks at that pentacle. See there, he's like, oh my god, this is so beautiful, this is so awesome. And he's steady, he's stable, he's a pentacles guy, right? He's a pentacles person. He likes to take things straight and easy and slow, and he likes to step by step grow. He's at the beginning stages. That's the page. Now reverse though means that he is he's going to drop this pentacle. Dang, yeah. So he's going to stop being sincere. He's going to stop being slow and steady. He's going to, just the opposite meaning, right? He won't be as sincere and devoted and studious and everything like he was in the upright. Another one is there might be some hurdles, right? That's level 2. There might be, maybe the reason why he is not able to focus or be sincere is because there are hurdles. There are some practical hurdles. Why practical? Because pentacles, right? There are some practical hurdles to why he cannot focus, right? So where's the energy stuck? The energy is stuck maybe in the situation that he's caught up in, right? And in the slow, maybe the slow and steady approach is not working for him because he's the pentacles guy, and maybe he's making either he's going too fast or he's going too slow, right? His steady approach needs a little tweaking. Okay, now we've interpreted this card. Now let's look at it within the context of the spread position. This is the position of guidance. So now whatever is coming up is the guidance, right? The guidance here, therefore, because now let's bring it back into the story of the spread. This guy is going through a really tough time, and the obstacle is the disconnect with his family. And so the guidance is to stop being so, because this reverse meaning is the guidance, all right? So he needs to stop being so focused about this one thing. Maybe it's a money issue, right? Because why pentacles? Maybe he needs to stop focusing on that one issue, and maybe he needs to stop being either too fast or too slow in his approach towards that issue. He needs to really find a way to approach that issue in a much better way, right? He's not doing a good job of it right now. Okay, so maybe the cards are saying just drop that issue, drop that point, right? Because if you want to bring the emotional connection back in your family situation, you need to drop this issue. Situation, obstacle, guidance. How about that? Reverse cards through all 3 levels. All right, let's, the way I see it is I combine all the 3 and make it more coherent. Like, the thing is, you'll get it with practice, right? As you go working with this, you combine all the 3 levels into a single coherent meaning. I want you guys to practice like this, and I want you guys to put your reverse cards through these 3 paces. And so, as you keep talking, and this is again a very interesting, important rule that my tarot teacher told me right when we were learning, is don't stop talking. Okay, the moment you stop talking and say that's it, you have lost it. You have to keep talking. If you keep talking, that means you'll figure something out. Something will pop out of your mind, and you will stop thinking. You will stop the mind control over your words, and your intuition will speak up. Whatever from it is there in your heart will bubble up through your mouth. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do one more example because I'm feeling so good. Again, situation, obstacle, and guidance. Okay, we have reversals. We have 2 reversals here too. Good. Okay, so what is the situation? We have 2 of Swords reversed. Okay, this is cool. 2 of Swords, this is the card of choices. Remember, I believe one of the themes of one of the months, I forget which month, I'm sorry, I'm hopeless like that, was choices and decisions. And 2 of Swords is all about that. Very simply, if you look at her, the way she sits, that pose, one sword, other sword, which one should I go for? Simple, yeah? And she's got that blindfold. Again, that could mean I don't want to see or I cannot see. See, there's always that duality of the 2 there. That's your 2 of Swords. Now, reversed, this is the situation. You can say, oh, she doesn't have a choice, or oh, she's already made a choice, right? Or oh, her, level 2, maybe she's having difficulty making a choice. Maybe there's some problems hurdles, some issues, some delays in her making of the choices. Or, stuck energy again, so somewhere because maybe she has chosen not to see, or maybe because she cannot see what lies ahead, she is stuck and she's unable to make a choice. So, putting it all together, there is a problem for this lady to make a choice, or she has definitely already kind of chosen. Okay, that's your situation. Let's go with two different versions here so we see how the story goes. The obstacle is Nine of Cups. Now see this. A happy card really showing up as the obstacle. Now, what is this card Nine of Cups all about? It's all about finding contentment and emotional contentment at that. This guy's really pleased with himself. He's happy with himself. Yeah, that's what this Nine of Cups is really all about. He's completely happy in his own situation. Now, this though becomes the obstacle, right? Now let's connect this story. Is she's unable to make her choice, or she's stuck in making her choices, or she's kind of made her choice already. Let's go with the first version. She's stuck with making her choice. She cannot make a choice because the biggest obstacle in her path is that she's quite happy with her situation, so she really doesn't want to make a choice. Wow, that's one interpretation. Let's say she's already made a choice. She's made a choice. Why? Because, but what's coming in the way of her maybe exercising that choice or that decision is the fact that her situation is pretty decent, it's pretty good. She's quite happy with herself. So she's, even though she's made a decision, she's finding it really difficult to implement it, maybe because she's kind of doing okay for herself, and she's like, well, I have made my choice, but I don't know, So, what is the guidance? Star card, reverse. Ta-da! The cards are they always come up so good. Now, look at the star. The star is all about hope, positivity, and letting go. Right? All that she has accumulated in her journey so far, she's letting it go. She's just like, take it. She's putting it in the pool of the subconscious. She's giving it back to the earth. All of that. I'm not going to get into the symbolism, but the star is all about positivity, hope, and letting go and finding that clarity that comes after you let go. Very fine. What happens in the reverse, though? The opposite of positivity can become that, negativity. New hope becomes lack of hope. Letting go becomes unable to let go. So you don't feel good and positive and hopeful because you're not able to let go. That is level 1. Level 2, there might be some issues or hurdles in the process of letting go, which is why there's no hope, there's no positivity, because you are unable to, or maybe because you don't feel so positive, you're not letting go. Or version 3 is stuck energy. Maybe somewhere, you're still stuck in whatever it is that's going on, and so you don't feel very positive and you're not finding the way to, let go. Right? Because if you see in the reversal, whatever she's pouring out will come back in. I mean, you have to use your imagination a little bit here, but that helps because, seeing things in the reverse, like, oh, what is going to go back into her jug, right? So, now this is the guidance. This is the guidance. So you have to now take all these interpretations and put it in that container or that context of the guidance, a part of the spread. So let's regroup. She is either stuck on making, she's stuck because she can't make a choice, right? And it's hard for her to make a choice because she's pretty happy. That's the obstacle. Her obstacle is that she's happy where she's at. So she doesn't really want to do something to change whatever's going on. That choice might change things for her. So the cards are like, okay, don't let go. Don't let it go. Don't get onto that place. Don't put yourself in that position. There's no point. Okay. Or let's just go back to version 2 where she said, oh, she's already made a choice. But the obstacle is that everything is pretty hunky-dory where she's at. So whatever choice she's made, it might be difficult to implement that
So the guidance that the cards are saying is don't worry, don't let that get to you. All right. Uh maybe maybe it's not a good time to implement those choices. Maybe the time will come. Right. The delay part here, that's what I'm feeling in this particular interpretation is that maybe it's not the right time to start something new, and maybe you should just wait it out for a little bit. Wow. Okay. This was pretty intense. This was pretty intense. All right. So these are just pretty simple spreads where I demonstrated again uh, that reverse cards are not scary. In fact, they add so many interesting layers of information and meaning to your reading. And if you use the three different layers or three different levels of interpreting it, and in the end, as you get more comfortable with each, you kind of combine it all into one, you actually get a very interesting story. Right? Right?
Hey, so I hope that those spreads that I just did kind of helped clarify to you that reverse cards are not scary. In fact, I want you to really play with them. I want you to maybe pull out spreads where you purposefully reverse a few cards and see how that comes out. And that's why I just did a very simple past, present, future, put it through its paces, and then I also did the situation, obstacle, guidance spread, because again, different spread positions will change the context within which the interpretation is kind of presented. And I want you guys as a homework to practice working with reverse cards in this way. Put each reverse card through its paces, right? From the simple opposite meaning of a pride card to then the next one, which is like hurdles and delays or blockages, and then we have the stuck energy. Again, I think the stuck energy and the blockages is the same, right? Okay, so hurdles and delays, and then blockages and stuck energy. So put it through its paces, and then as you work with it, you will soon find yourself combining all these three meanings in one, or some more than others, depending on how you get the feel. And and that's when you'll start putting it together. And reverse cards are not scary. Again, the moment you look at the reverse card, the whole point of the reverse card is for you to pay attention to it. Oh, it's reverse. What's going on? Pick it up. Make it upright if that helps you figure out the original interpretation of the upright meaning of the card. Then turn it around and say, okay, so now in the reverse, blah 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 blah. Really, there's all there is to it. Now, another thing is you'll say, okay, Madhvi, these were all the different kinds of ways you can interpret the reverse card. So in an actual reading, when let's say I'm reading for a friend or a client or for myself, which meaning applies? Good question. Your intuition is very lovely. Okay. And I will say intuitively the meaning that comes to you, the first thing that pops in your head when you open the card, when you turn it over, that's your answer. And you'll be like, really? How? That's not a definite system. It is actually a very definite system. And you work with it. That is what that is the two instructions, I would say, very practical, very useful instructions that my teacher gave me when I was learning with her is: A, don't stop talking, and B, when you open the card, whatever pops in your mind, just keep going with it. I'm telling you, this don't stop talking also really helps. Why? Because then you are not letting your logical mind come in and say, oh no, but wait. That doesn't happen because you're talking and you're talking. So you talk whatever comes, right? You keep talking, you keep saying stuff that just comes. It's like you open that channel of intuition and you just let that flow. Okay? And then you just open the card. So what happens is, going from card to card to card, as you're opening it in the spread, you open it, and so because you don't stop talking, it's the first thing that pops out of your head, your mouth, whatever. You just keep going with it. Okay, trust yourself, right? When imagine it this way. When you have studied, when you learned your tarot card meanings, however you learned them, from a book, from a class, from this, from that place, whatever, doesn't matter. When you read it, when you have studied it, when you think, oh, I need to learn this, mug this up, you're bringing your mind into play, and that mind is a tricky thing. but if you're just open your heart and read it, it's already there. The thing is, instead of thinking of your mind more, think of your mind more actually as a computer, right? So all the meanings are actually saved in here. They are stored. They are there. They are not going away. Okay? This memory doesn't really get corrupted. It's there. And then it gets added into your subconscious with your experiences, with your this, that, and everything. It's all kind of mixed up. Let it get mixed up. Let it happen that way, because your life experiences are going to enrich your tarot card interpretation. Okay? Now, when you're doing a reading and you're not stopping and thinking about anything, just like talking, you open the card, you keep saying what pops up. What's going on is your subconscious has done all the work. It's combined these meanings that you have studied. It's combined everything, and the images are there to help you. They are not there to confuse you, right? So if you are drawing a blank, which also happens, which happens to me too. When you start drawing a blank, you say, okay, look at this image. Look at what's going on. You keep talking. You don't stop. You keep talking, and you start saying, oh, look, this is what's going on in the picture. And the moment you start to sort of list out what's happening in the picture, the interpretation pops up. Okay, so my point here is, especially from the perspective of shadow, reverse cards, not scary unless you decide that they are scary. Point number 2, in order to face these fears or face this shadow, just make friends with them and use this triple layered method to interpret them, play with them, practice with them. They'll become less scary over a period of time. Third, in the time when you're actually going out there and doing readings for other people, again, don't stop talking, keep talking, and so that your intuition flows. Whatever is the first thing that pops in your mind, go with it. And fourth, and I think more than anything else, over it all, trust yourself, right? Your fears and your doubts about your own reading skills and abilities are the biggest obstacle in your path. Sit with it for a moment. Your fears and your own doubts about your own reading abilities are your biggest hurdles in your path to becoming a good reader. It's your mind. It's like filling you up with self-doubt. Tell your mind that, nope, I'm not having any of it. Tell your mind very firmly that you are not having any of it, that you are good, and you're going to get better and better day by day, and you're going to just, with practice, you are improving. Not you will improve, but you are improving. You're already on that path of improving. You're getting better already. Okay? Again, use your mind to work for you. Okay? Don't become don't let your mind overpower you. Use your mind to work for you. Okay, a lot of these fears are your own making. Face them, get over them. I mean, yeah, kind of is. Including reverse cards. And reverse cards, believe me, they have a purpose. They have a job to do too. Cards, they perform double duty. If you ask me, with the upright, with the reverse, basically one way or the other, they come in and tell you what they have to tell you straight up, and they don't mince words. So accept that and go with it. And there's always a better angle, or whatever message comes in, there's always something interesting and good and valuable in there. I believe that the cards aren't wrong. It's our interpretations that can be wrong, because we're humans. We are fallible. And so our interpretations can, we can goof up. We can make mistakes, but the cards, never. And so trust your card, trust yourself. And the way to get more confident is to feel confident. You say, okay, I'm getting better, I'm improving, I'm already well on my way to improving. And use your mind to work for you, right? This fear, this shadow of the reverse card will slowly dissipate, it will integrate. And you'll be like, hey, shadow, reverse cards, I'm fine with that. I want you guys to be in that place, okay? Reverse cards are not scary. Please don't make them scary. Okay? All right. I hope that you guys have liked this video, and thank you so much for being so patient with me and watching all my long videos from start to finish. I really, really do appreciate that. I do. All the love that you give me is a blessing. So please keep, if you like this one, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I make, I do make a lot of long videos, but I love my cards, and it's all about the cards. And if you like to get to know more about this card story process, again, watch the video I've linked up there, and go buy my book. Okay. If you also want to order a reading for yourself, or if you want to learn from me, because I teach, it's a fun class. It's very intensive though. It's intensive but fun. It's fun intensive, or intensive fun, both. So I also teach. So if you're interested in any of that, again, all the links are in the description that accompanies this video. Go have a look, check it out, and I will see you again pretty soon. Till then, stay good, be good, play with your cards. Bye now.